And we now have 50 people who have joined us, which is great. Welcome, welcome to everybody. Please feel free to introduce your name and your country in the chat if you would like. And a reminder that this session is currently being recorded. And we are also live streaming right now on Facebook. So if you don't follow us yet, please follow us on Facebook, like our page at West Africa TESOL. And again, please mute your microphone. Thank you. And feel free during the presentations to ask questions in the chat. We will do our best to try to answer questions and try to follow that. Please do not be offended if we miss your question. There will be many people joining us. We had over 850 people register for this conference, which is an amazing number. But with so many people, we might miss a few things. So I'm sorry if we do not address every question. Again, we have limited time, so we may not be able to answer everything. Okay, so like I said, we have limited time. So I'm going to move forward here and go to my next slide, just so that everybody's aware. We might use images from this event. So if you do not want your image to be used, please make sure your video is off. And if you would like, you could change your name. You can rename yourself on Zoom as well. All right, I'm going to begin with just a quick video that maybe you've seen before, introducing this year's conference. Okay, so again, welcome everybody to the second annual West Africa TESOL virtual conference. Today's July 1st, 2022. Our conference is taking place today. We are kicking off right now, and then we will continue tomorrow, July 2nd. And we are so lucky to have these three wonderful plenary speakers who we will introduce later on. And as well as our plenary speakers, we have a number of amazing presenters from all over West and Central Africa. And I will share their names in just a bit. A quick introduction of who I am. So my name is Virginia Nicolai. I'm an English language fellow, which is a program, an exchange program through the US Department of State. And my background is I have a master's in applied linguistics. And since September of last year, 2021, I've been teaching English at PK Fokum Institute of Excellence in Yaoundé, Cameroon. So I am joining you right now from Yaoundé, Cameroon, but I am American and I live in the state of Colorado, where I am a professor of ESL, English as a second language. The West Africa TESOL Association began last year thanks to the great work of an English language specialist. So that's another cultural exchange program that is funded through the US Department of State. And Leah Gabe, who we are very lucky to have giving a keynote presentation tomorrow afternoon, our closing keynote. And she was the person who did so much work to get this started. And there was a virtual conference last year. Many of you may have attended. And the objective of our association here is to increase collaboration and networking between English language teachers across this region and meet a growing demand for professional development, especially when it comes to educational technology. That's why the conference began during the COVID-19 global pandemic, when many of us were teaching online. And we are continuing to share ideas related to best practices with educational technology. We also, our goal as a group is to encourage each other to participate in global conferences. So presenting here in the West Africa TESOL conference is an excellent start, and we encourage everyone, excuse me, we encourage everyone to then go on to even bigger conferences like the TESOL International Association. I would like to thank the conference organizing committee from this year. 40 educators from across the region came together back in April of this year. And for the past 2-3 months, we've all been working together to plan this event. So we're so excited that it's here, and thank you for attending. We are a group of very passionate educators who want to provide professional development to our colleagues, and all of the members have dedicated many hours of their time for this event today. So thank you so much to our marketing committee. Here are their names up here on the screen, and maybe a virtual round of applause to the members of the marketing committee who created all of the beautiful graphics and logos and flyers, and also the registration form that everybody filled out. In addition to the marketing committee, we had a proposals committee. So thank you to the members whose names you see here. They are the people who read all of the proposals that were submitted, and they created the call for proposals, and they evaluated and selected our presentations. So great job to this committee. We also had a program committee. Everyone on this list that you can see helped create our schedule. If everybody can please make sure that you stay muted, thank you. And everyone here they worked on our schedule and our program book, and have done such a great job on that. And finally, our sessions committee. They worked so hard to support all of the presenters. They worked on creating recordings, because we know here in West and Central Africa, we're hoping for no technology issues, no internet connection issues over the next 2 days, but we never know. So we do have backup recordings available on our YouTube channel. So thank you to this group for making that happen and for helping the presenters. And then on top of that, many of our committee members are moderating all of the sessions that we have going on today and tomorrow. So they will be moderating here on Zoom, on Facebook Live, and on both WhatsApp and Telegram. So thank you so much to the moderators. We this year have tried to make some improvements on last year's conference, which was wonderful, but we've built on that. So we tried to expand our outreach, and I think we succeeded. Last year, there were about 200 attendees, and this year, more than 850 people around the world have registered from more than 50 countries. So that's an amazing turnout, and it shows the interest that exists in our professional community, which is incredible. We've tried to expand access by broadcasting the conference on 4 different platforms. So you can join us in these different ways. We are trying to expand the networking opportunities. Last night, if you're a part of our Telegram group, you may have attended our cultural jamboree, which was a lot of fun. We played some games to get to know each other, and many people shared beautiful images and videos from their different cultures so that we could celebrate the diversity of the participants in this conference from more than 50 countries. And we've also expanded the collection of data by using Google Forms for both registration And there will be a post-conference survey for all of you to please fill out. And that's how you will receive a certificate for attending. So again, over these next 2 days, we have 2 keynotes. We have 15 presentations from all these different countries. Everyone here should have received an email with the link to our program, and I will add that into the chat later as well, but you can read about every presentation and every presenter there. Thank you to our presenters. Here, I just want to recognize everybody's name, everyone who is presenting. And thank you so much for dedicating your time and sharing your knowledge and expertise with all of us so that we can learn from each other. All right, and quickly, because my time is almost up, just a reminder that the 4 different ways you can join us. Here on Zoom, there is a maximum of 300 participants. So if you can't get into Zoom, please feel free to watch on Facebook Live. The maximum is much, much larger. So everyone can join that way. You will watch the same exact live presentation, and you can type in the comments on Facebook. In addition, on Telegram, there will be the opportunity to interact. The live presentation is not on Telegram, but you can watch the recording on there. And then we also have 3 presentations that will take place live on WhatsApp. So people will be able to join those presentations and the presenters will be in WhatsApp. So sessions 7B, 8, and 9 are not on Zoom. They will be on WhatsApp only. And there is a maximum of 512 members for the group. The link is in the program and has been emailed out to everyone. And then finally, I know it's very important that we receive a certificate for participation. So we will share the link to the post-conference survey. Please fill that out between July 2nd and 9th. It is not open right now, but it will be after the conference. And then you will receive your certificate by email later this month. All right, thank you all again for attending. We're so happy that you're here, and we would like to thank our sponsor, English Language Programs, and the U.S. Department of State, who are making this conference possible. Thank you so much. And I am going to turn it over to our regional English language officers for the opening remarks. We are very happy to have with us today Tim Collins, who is located at the U.S. Embassy in Kinshasa, and he is the Relo for Central Africa. And also Bill Little, who I think many of you have met before, is located at the U.S. Embassy in Dakar for another day or 2. He is on his way to his next posting, but he has been working over the past few years with West Africa. So Tim and Bill, if you would like to begin, I'll stop sharing. And I think you should be able to share your screens if you have a presentation.
No presentation, but can you see me?
Yes, and we can hear you too. Perfect.
Great. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. It is an honor and a great pleasure to represent the United States Department of State and the U.S. Embassy Dakar at this wonderful event. As Virginia said, I've been here 4 years, and during my 4 years in West Africa, I've had the good fortune to meet and collaborate with so many excellent English teachers all across Africa on a number of projects and in several countries. I have witnessed your talents face to face and have always been impressed and inspired by your work and dedication despite the numerous challenges that you face. Today, I'm extremely happy that some of you will be able to share your expertise in your sessions with more than 800 teachers from over 50 countries around the world. Our participants are in for a real treat these next 2 days. I want to extend a huge thank you to all our current English language fellows in West Africa who have done so much excellent and meaningful work with their West African counterparts across the region. Their work has impacted thousands of students and teachers, and for that matter, the future generation of West Africa. I know they have also had great experiences in their host countries, sharing cultures and making long-lasting friends. I especially want to thank our English language fellow in Cameroon, our host, Virginia Nicolai, who with the conference planning committee had the vision, the expertise, and the tireless energy to put this great event together. Congratulations to all of you, especially Virginia. Now, of course, I have to give a special thank you, as was pointed out earlier, to one of our keynote speakers today, Leah Gabe. Leah has done outstanding work in West Africa as a former fellow and English language specialist. In fact, I think I can say without hesitation that Leah is the mother of this conference, because it was her amazing work last summer that resulted in the first annual West African virtual TESOL conference. The fact that it continues and has grown to such a large international event is a tribute to her great work. Now, this is my final day in the office, and having been in West Africa for 4 years, given many opening remarks, I think it's finally about time to cut these short. I welcome my great colleague and friend, Tim Collins, to Africa, and I'm sure he will have as many wonderful experiences as I have. And for all those experiences, and to all of you, thank you, merci, Jetta Jeff. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Bill. I can't believe it's your last day here in Africa. I am just myself arriving and getting started. So thank you, first of all, to everyone, and thank you especially to Virginia for that great introduction. As a newly arrived regional English language officer, it's a pleasure to greet so many of you. And I'm joining you today from my new home in Kinshasa. And in the background, you can see a photo that I actually took. It's actually just a few steps from my front door. It's the Congo River with Brazzaville in the distance. In a moment, we're going to be using the chat or applause function, depending on which program you're in, platform you're in. So please open one of them now if you have a chance. I would like to I would like to begin by adding my thanks to the people that Bill already thanked and adding a few more, most especially the 17 presenters who will be speaking over the course of the conference. Is something wrong?
I'm sorry about that, Tim. I think somebody unmuted, but we muted them.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, that's cool. I'd like to thank especially the 17 presenters who are going to be speaking over the course of the conference. So let's thank all of the presenters with a few words in the chat or by pressing the applause button. And of course, we need to mention the over 800 eager teachers who've signed up to attend. It's an honor to have such hardworking and dedicated educators joining us. And I'd also like to acknowledge the work of my Relo colleague, Bill Little, who until recently was Relo for several of the countries that are now in my portfolio: Cameroon, Nigeria, Niger, and Equatorial Guinea. Bill and I joined the Relo Corps together, and it's great to follow in his footsteps. So let's thank Bill for his hard work in the region over these last 4 years by either typing some words in the chat or pressing the applause button. So today, in addition to introducing myself, it's a pleasure to introduce the 8 Americans who will be joining us as the new academic year begins in August, September, or October in the Relo Central Africa countries. And I'm going to take a minute to navigate over to show you a slide that we prepared Of all of the English language fellows who are going to be arriving here in Africa to begin their assignments and to begin living and working here in the next few months. We have 2 who are headed to Burundi, Haley and Jason. And we have Suzanne, who has already been working these past few months right across the river in Republic of the Congo in Brazzaville. We have Annalise, who is going to be joining us in Rwanda. We have Annie and Karen in Cameroon, Rainier in Nigeria, or in Niger, and Suzanne is going to be joining us in Nigeria. And so I know that you're going to be joining me in welcoming all of them to their assignments here in Africa. And I know that just like Virginia in Cameroon and Suzanne in Brazzaville, our newcomers are going to love it, and I hope that they'll want to extend to a second year. And I myself, I've only been here barely 2 months, but I've already asked to extend my assignment by a year. English language fellows are only one of the great programs that the RELO offices in Dakar and Kinshasa bring to you. We offer English language specialists for short-term projects. And we also have our English Access Micro Scholarship Program, which has provided tens of thousands of teens and young adults across Africa with 2 years of English, civics, American culture, technology, and service learning. We also have a wealth of, and this is my favorite word of everything that we do, free. That's my favorite word. Free online and virtual materials and programs. And I'd like to take a few minutes to show you a short video of some of these programs. And I'm just going to navigate over there.
The U.S. Department of State offers many fun, engaging, and free online resources for English language students and teachers. Let's learn more about these resources. One of the best places to find our free American English content and resources is through our social media platforms. Check out our American English at State Facebook page, where you can find daily graphics and weekly videos for you and your students. For teachers, there's also the American English for Educators page, where we share articles and host daily discussions. On this page, we also offer the free American English Live program, a series of free live professional development workshops for teachers. You'll learn about English language teaching techniques and methodologies and receive a digital badge of completion after attending each session. After you accumulate 4 badges, you can get an e-certificate of completion. Check out the events page to stay tuned for these sessions. Let's take a quick listen to one of our most recent sessions on movement in the classroom.
Or let's try a very simple question like, is coffee good for you? Everyone has an opinion, maybe. But the teacher calls on one person, maybe 2. We can phrase this so that everybody has to answer. For example, is coffee good for you? Stand up if you agree.
In addition to our live events and graphics on our Facebook pages, the American English YouTube channel provides many free videos for teachers and students to view and share. Learn about irregular verbs and American English idioms and watch professional development webinars for teachers. Have you ever visited the American English website? As you can see, it offers many free materials and resources on American English language and culture for teachers and students. Let's check out some of the most popular resources on our website. Activate Games for Learning American English offers free downloadable games that promote fun and student-centered learning. And provides information on great online tools for language teaching. And while you're on our website, don't forget to check out English Teaching Forum. English Teaching Forum is a peer-reviewed journal by and for English language teachers around the world. Check it out for ideas for the classroom and tips for professional development. Also be sure to check out our free MOOCs for professional development. MOOCs, or Massive Open Online Courses, are actual online university courses developed by top American universities. You can study topics such as using educational technology and integrating critical thinking. Check this page regularly for information on upcoming course offerings and earn a digital badge upon your completion of each course. So those are just some of the U.S. State Department's free resources for English students and teachers. We hope you find all of these free resources helpful for your classroom.
Okay. So as you present, share, learn, network, and collaborate over these next 2 days, I'd just like to take a moment to reflect on why we're doing this and why the RELO offices support these programs. And the answer is as rich and complicated as the discussions that you're going to be having over these next 2 days. We want to build mutual understanding between Americans and African people. And we want to encourage prosperity through access to English, which can open so many doors relating to employment and access to more education, including education in very highly specialized and well-paid fields. In addition, we know that English gives people access to reliable sources of information at a time when the world is flooded with a lot of misinformation and disinformation. And finally, English gives people access to fun, movies, music, the internet, and social media, all in English. So as we begin this great conference, let me thank you again for your dedication to your students and to English language learning and teaching. I wish you a great conference.
Thank you so much, Tim and Bill, both for those wonderful words of encouragement and reminding us of all of the, I love that word too, free resources that we have available for English language teachers. And I will now turn it over to one of our conference organizing committee members, Anna Skeen, who is going to introduce our opening keynote.
Thank you, Virginia. Welcome, dear participants, to this second virtual West African TESOL conference. We are glad that you're joining us here, and we want to thank the RELOs for their opening address. We are going to be having the keynote, and I see the presenter is quite ready. You can see his screen. And the keynote address is going to be on volunteerism and leadership. It's a presentation done by Dr. Okon Effiong. It's a household name. Dr. Okon Effiong's academic background is quite varied. He has qualifications in applied linguistics, applied genetics, management, information technology, education, and TESOL. He holds a PhD in applied linguistics from the University of Southampton in the UK, and he has taught, currently he teaches in the Foundation Program, Department of English at the University of Qatar. Before going to Qatar, Dr. Okon taught pre-master students at the University of Southampton in the UK. He also taught undergraduate students in different universities in Japan. He has also taught undergraduate genetics at the Federal University of Minna in Nigeria. Dr. Okon is an experienced special needs teacher who has taught young adults with autistic spectrum disorders in the United Kingdom. Dr. Okon is a chair of the Conference Planning Committee for Qatar University Foundation Program, a position he has held for some years, and is responsible for organizing annual conferences on English language teaching. He's a current TESOL board member, and that's why you see on his slide, he has the TESOL International logo. He has been board member, he is currently a board member 2020 to 2023. He has been chair of the TESOL Financial Committee, and he has also previously served in this same committee's nomination committee in 2018. He has also served TESOL International Association as chair of Diversity and Inclusion Committee. That was in 2013 to 2015. He is chair-elect of the Effiong interest section. He served as such 2015 to 2016. And as news editor for the Effiong is English as a Foreign Language Interest Group newsletter 2014 to 2015. And Dr. Okon is the founder of Africa ELTA, formerly called Africa TESOL, which now has 22 affiliate countries. From his background, his bio, you do understand that he has given so much time volunteering for associations. And that's why, no doubt, he will be talking to us today about volunteerism and leadership in Teachers Association. Over to you, Dr. Okon. Thank you.
Okay, hello. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Chi. That introduction actually describes my session today. First of all, Virginia, thank you for putting this together. I've organized 11 international conferences. Hello, somebody is talking in the background. Do I have a co-presenter? Okay, thank you. I've organized 11 international conferences, so I know the amount of work that goes into organizing a conference. 300 plus days of planning and working hard to it to be given in 2 days. A lot of people see the beautiful side of the event, but they don't appreciate the hard work that goes into the planning. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, the team. Unlike Tim, who has a real river flowing behind his window, mine is a paper. So maybe the appropriate thing should be to put a sand dune picture here. So I begin my presentation with this topic. Rome was not built in a day. We have TESOL International, we have IATFO. These are the big boys or big girls of the profession. TESOL International started in 1966. James Ellitis was one of the founding members and the first ED. IATFO started in 1967. Professor Lee was the founder, and it became international in 1970. I founded Africa ELTA in 2015. I wasn't the first president. I was a liaison officer. So coming down to West Africa TESOL, a lot of people have asked me, what is West Africa TESOL? Is it a rival organization to Africa ELTA? And I said, no, the more the merrier. We have the federal government, the state government, and the local government to bring the governance nearer to the people. Those who couldn't access IATFO and TESOL could access resources from Africa ELTA. The same goes for West Africa TESOL. So I had some education last night. West Africa TESOL is not a body, it's not an association incorporated like Africa ELTA or other associations. This was the brainchild of Bill Little. Thank you, Bill, who was the RELO then. And thank you, Safiatu, who was the RELO assistant. And Leah for giving birth to this baby, West Africa TESOL. When we plant rice, we don't harvest beans. when we plant a seed, you can never predict what will happen. It might not be an association, it might not be what they intended it to be, but nobody knows what West Africa TESOL will be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years' time. I understand the idea was for those sponsored to go to international conferences will come back and share their experiences with those who were not able to attend those events. And that's how West Africa TESOL came about. So thank you very much for putting this together. And I think the more the merrier. So moving on to my topic, volunteerism. I have this diagram here showing the flow and what I'll call the antecedents, what will now make you want to volunteer. What is the prevailing circumstance? Or what previous events actually stimulated you or geared you into volunteering? And when you do volunteer, what do you experience? What do you learn from it? What do you put in and what do you get out? So my consequences here is more like a reward, I would say. Reward, the consequences of volunteering. And to my understanding, if you put all these things together, there's very little difference between volunteering and being a volunteer and being a leader, because all the experiences you bring to bear in your leadership position when you do get into that pipeline. So we'll be saying a few things about this. Liz England is in the audience today. Thank you, Liz, for sharing an article by Wilson. The article Liz England shared with me provides the theoretical basis for what I want to say. I'll be addressing the topic volunteerism, and where possible, I'll bring myself in, and then we'll have 10 minutes at the end to discuss question and answer. So I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, and then we can have more interactive session during Q&A. I'm more comfortable talking with people, not talking to people. So the theories, we have economic, psychological, and sociological theories underpinning volunteerism. Economic promise of reward. Individuals may want to volunteer to serve in associations so that they'll be sponsored to attend conference in Europe or America. Promise of reward. Or maybe there may be some financial reward. They pay you for your petrol to attend meetings, or they pay you money to buy data to attend online sessions, or they compensate you one way or the other. There's also the psychological part of it, which is like, what do you think about yourself? What motivates you? Your personality traits. You need these to be able to be an effective and good volunteer. Then sociological, your race, your gender, your class, social network could inform your willingness to volunteer. I was stimulated by what I perceived as, wrongly perceived as injustice, when I thought Africa was not represented at the international level. I was very upset, I was very angry, and I decided, instead of sitting down here criticizing and complaining and moaning and groaning, let me get in there and see what I can do. That is how Africa ELTA came about. We can talk about this later. So, but then, these are also influenced by the social context. Why will you want to volunteer? The social context. Where are you working? Where do you live? What is available? Who are your friends? What are your friends doing? Do you have friends who are volunteers? Or do they encourage you to join? Or do you have friends who just look and then complain and complain and complain about a situation without trying to address that situation? When I saw something was not quite right in Qatar TESOL, I felt it was my duty to get in there and fix it. For 10 years, we had Qatar TESOL in Qatar, and they've been holding conferences in maybe just 2 venues. And I'm teaching in the biggest national university. And I thought, why can't my university host a conference? The only way I could get that conference to my Qatar University, to Qatar University, was to get involved. So that was my stimulus. I contested the election, which I never thought I would win, and I won it. I became the president. And I took that conference to Qatar University in 2015. My director then liked what she saw. After the conference, she said, Okon, I want this year next year, but not Qatar TESOL, but foundation program. And from 2016, we've been hosting annual conferences, and it's getting bigger every year. We had 4,000 virtual attendees last year. We're having the 7th version this year. So you never can tell what will be the outcome of your endeavor. At that time, I wasn't thinking about having conferences in the university, but that outcome of volunteering to serve at Qatar TESOL brought about this. Then who volunteers? Who volunteers? Is it a call of duty? Do you feel oppressed? Do you want to be a change agent? Do you feel compelled to do it? Or is it something that is morally right? Or do you think it's a requirement? Or is it an expectation? So that call of duty is there, and some people go beyond the call of duty by giving so much of their time. Then antecedents. This word is very important. Disposition, a level of readiness to act. If you are not predisposed to this, you will not be able to volunteer your time. And then subjective disposition, this I'm referring to a situation where your personality traits, your motives, your attitudes, and your values will now bring to bear on your willingness to volunteer. And what all this have in common is the way people interpret themselves and the world around them. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as somebody who is capable of doing what you intend to do? Do you see yourself as somebody who can contribute to the profession by giving your time, your money, everything you've got? Are you expecting rewards? Or do you think your environment is good enough to provide the resources you need? If not, who is there to provide those resources? So these are questions. And these are the things that can actually encourage people to volunteer. So the credentials, you really need to be resilient. As a volunteer, you need to be resilient, meaning able to withstand or recover quickly from a difficult situation. You need social skills too. People that have social phobia are not good candidates for volunteerism. You need social skills to be able to talk to people, to be able to interact with people. And then positive emotionality, which is like something that brings about positive effect. You know, happiness when something is attained, relief when you avoid a dangerous situation, or contentment when you are satisfied with the present state of affairs. On the other hand, negative emotionality will be envy, jealousy, and then you just feel the other person is doing this, you envy or become jealous of that person. So that doesn't work if you really want to volunteer. And 11 signs of resilience, which I really want to it's a lot here on the screen. If you want to be a good volunteer and ultimately a good leader, you need to hold yourself accountable. You don't blame others for things when things go wrong. Just tell yourself, I've done my best, and after that, anything can go wrong. Just like this event that West Africa TESOL is organizing. You can never tell. Maybe technology can just disappoint you. Things can just go wrong. But people have spent months and months putting this together. At this point in time, there's really nothing you can do about it. So have that good attitude by not complaining. Know and trust yourself. Know your abilities. When I took the conference I just mentioned earlier, first time to my university in Qatar, I shared it with my head of department. I'm bringing a conference to the university. He told me straight, I don't trust your ability to host a conference. You're going to embarrass the department, so I'm not going to support you. And I said, no problem. And I walked away, but I knew myself, I trusted myself, and I knew what I was capable of doing. That was my head of department refusing to support me and telling me he doesn't believe in me. I went ahead and put up a good conference. The director now said, thank you, Okon. Now bring it on. We want it. So just know yourself. We are all humans. We have our limitations. And don't be too shy to ask for help. This is not like begging. Asking for help is not begging for something. It's just trying to get support, to get on with what you're trying to do. Africa Alta has many friends. We call them Friends of Africa Alta. They use their money to pay their way to our events, pay for their hotel and everything, to support us, because they know Africa Alta doesn't have money. So we don't go begging for dollars. Please, can you give me $1,000 to do this? No. If you want to help us, you can provide that help in a different way. So don't stop to ask. Always ask for help. And don't wallow in self-pity. When things go wrong, just plan whatever you need to do and move on. Stop comparing yourself to others. Hey, she does this, I do better. Or she does this, I can't do as much as she does. That language there, I pass my neighbor, is a Nigerian English. We have a Nigerian in the audience here. In Nigeria, we have erratic power supply, and then not many people can afford generators. So there's this tiny generator, it costs $70. It provides, maybe you can light maybe a few bulbs and maybe your television. So when you have that small tiny generator and your neighbor doesn't have light, that means you're better than your neighbor. So that generator is called I pass my neighbor. That means I'm better off than my neighbor, even though it's a very tiny one. So don't compare yourself with your colleagues who are also volunteering or doing things in different areas. Laugh at yourself. Find time to laugh. Be flexible as well. And always have a support system, which is the same as asking for help. Last and not the least, love yourself and love me. Love yourself, because you need to stay alive to be able to continue doing what you're doing. So when it comes to experience, these are the things you get when you volunteer. These are the things that may affect your level of satisfaction and commitment. The structure, the resources, the politics of the association, the conflict of interest, and then does the reason I want to into this process justify the rewards I'm getting? Or am I giving too much and getting too little? Do you get support from the maybe administration or from even the association structure, the leadership, and your family as well? Because if you have a big family, you may not be able to have the time to, you'll be thinking of money, and then level of appreciation, which is very important. Consequences. I read this, I'm not the one saying it. They say those who volunteer enjoy better mental health, and they have less stress, less depression, and then they feel better about themselves. I don't know. Maybe I don't have any of these symptoms. It could be because I've been volunteering for so many years. I just keep doing it so that I keep away from these negative consequences. Like I said, volunteerism and leadership, they go hand in hand. It gets you into leadership pipeline. And just like volunteering, to be a leader, you need some qualities too. Resilience, we've talked about that. Determination, perseverance, and ability to communicate with people effectively, managing your time. And there's no time is too late or too early to begin. Whether you just came out of college or you're a retiree, you have something to offer. And we have opportunities everywhere. Importantly, TESOL International needs people from Africa. They need representation from Africa. We want people from Africa to be able to come to TESOL International and speak for the continent and represent the continent. They're not going to come to Africa to look for you. So we need to find a way to get ourselves there. So you can start from your local affiliates, move into the regional, and then the continental, and then global. And if you want to go straight to TESOL International, I'm here to guide you. And we want people that will come in there and serve in the professional councils or interest sections. We have nominating committees, eventually the board of directors, and one day an African should be a president. We had one from Egypt before. We can have another one. So 5 minutes to the time. That leaves us just 5 minutes for Q&A. And Albert Einstein said, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. So that's all I have for you now. I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okon, for the wonderful presentation. We do note that you shared from your personal experience, and it's been a wonderful impact you created from TESOL International to Qatar to Africa, and the impact is still being felt. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. We have about 8 minutes my time for questions and answers. The first question comes from the Facebook Live, from a Facebook Live participant. He says, have you ever thought of giving up while volunteering? If yes, why? And if no, why?
Yes, I've thought of giving up because of frustration. See, I was reading the book Andy Curtis edited. I have an article there. Kathy Bailey said, playing leadership role is very challenging, rewarding, and frustrating. At some point, I was very frustrated as the president of Qatar TESOL. I wasn't able to push my vision, my agenda, because I was in the minority. All my proposals were voted down, and I think eventually I had to resign in frustration. I was voted to serve for 2 years, but I did only 1 year because I could not implement my vision, and I couldn't get them to buy into my vision because they were the majority. Everything was put to vote, and so I left. That was one reason.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think it answers Alan Tere's question. She said, she was asking if as a volunteer, you should not take into account your feelings, your disappointment, angers, and frustration. I think that answers the question. You can take into account that. Quit sometime, but do not say goodbye to volunteering. Now, a question from Maureen. She says, do you think that readiness is a prerequisite to volunteering in any situation? She says she's asking the question because you said before volunteering, you should know your level of readiness.
I think the answer is yes, because that also boils down to maybe the intrinsic motivation, the other factors surrounding you, like economic conditions, your family circumstances, whether you are married, you have 6 young children, or you're a divorcee, or you are a retiree. So these factors come into play when we mention the word readiness. And just to answer the previous question again, I was young in the leadership pipeline when I got frustrated and resigned, but I've learned not to run away. I've learned to stay and fight, okay? So that was when I was still young in the pipeline, so that's fine. So readiness, I think the answer to that question is, yeah, you need to be ready, because if you're not psychologically, mentally, and maybe physically or economically ready, you cannot. I do appreciate why a lot of teachers in Africa cannot volunteer, because the salary may not be enough to feed the family. So the few hours they have after work, they probably run some shops or do something extra second job. Unlike people that have enough money to feed their family, they have more time. So many things come into play. Talk about readiness. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Chi. You're muted.
Thank you, Doctor, for sharing your experience. We are learning from it. Being ready to take up the challenge is a prerequisite, and do not quit. I see Dr. Nicole Meno has her hand up. Dr. Nicole, over to you, please.
Unmute yourself, Nicole.
Dr. Nicole, you can unmute yourself.
It is well. I got the answer to my question. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I don't know why that hand is still up.
No other comments for now. Okay, I see Johnson ABB. Thank you, sir. You may unmute yourself. And
Hi, Johnson ABB from Nigeria. When you talk of volunteerism, are you talking of volunteerism at the level of leadership of TESOL, or volunteerism at the level of going to the class to teach, etc., etc.? Thank you.
Hi, Johnson. The concept, the topic is about volunteering in a language teacher association. So what I've been saying so far is about giving your time to promote your local language teachers association. So it's not about classroom. It's not about being a volunteer teacher. It's about serving the profession. That's what I mean by volunteering. So it's not necessarily at the highest level, at any level at all, whether at the local affiliate, you have Elton in Nigeria, You have WAT TESOL now, we have Africa ELTA, you have IATEFO, you have TESOL International. So at any level, you can volunteer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I see we have 2 minutes left. And I want to say, add to what Dr. Okon has said, community service and volunteerism are key qualities to have, key things to be found in your CV if you must go places. So it is important, and we are happy that at opening keynote is touching this. Landing badges says, would you mind commenting on becoming a leader is having a strong mindset?
Absolutely. Strong mindset, if you're talking about resilience, if you're talking about perseverance, because you will encounter difficult situations, maybe decision-making, get entangled with the politics of the organization. So if you don't have a strong mindset, you will not be able to face these challenges, which is why I said it could be challenging. I was repeating Kathy Bailey's. It could be challenging and it could be frustrating, but it's also very rewarding. So you need a strong mindset to be a good leader.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, dear participants, for attending this keynote. We will be moving on to the next session that begins in 15 minutes. And please, I have dropped the link in the chat box. It's not going to be the same link. So please do copy the link and join the first session that is going to be on hands-on activities to foster collaborative learning in the EFO context. Thank you, Dr. Okon, for sharing your experience. It was wonderful having you learning from your experience. And we hope we can build on the qualities you shared with us: resilience, strong mindset, having a vision and being able to push it. Thank you, dear participants, for making it to this keynote and opening ceremony. And we hope to see you in the next session that begins exactly in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ernestine. Thank you, Dr. Okon, Effiong, for that excellent, excellent keynote. And thank you, everyone, for participating. So just as Ernestine said, the link for the next session is in the chat, and we will see you there after a 15-minute break. Thank you all.